Newsroom.
3 men are back on land after being stranded at sea for 5 hours. They say they ran out of fuel and called the Coast Guard for help, but were surprised at what followed. News Channel 5's Rochelle Ritchie is joining us live now with a story you will see only on 5. Rochelle.
Well, Jim, the 3 men say they were 19 miles off the coast of Port Everglades when they hit E. They quickly learned, if not in danger, the Coast Guard legally cannot help.
Turned into a real big Gilligan's Island mess, you know?
Mike Cardenas and Vincent Puisi say a relaxing fishing trip this morning turned into more like an episode of Lost.
They left us with no water and we were dehydrated.
The men say around 11 o'clock this morning they packed up to leave, but the boat stalled and they say a fuel problem kept them stuck. They called the Coast Guard station in Fort Lauderdale and were feeling like their nightmare would soon come to an end when they showed up. But
14 minutes of towing us, all of a sudden they stopped and they said we had to break tow. Everybody jumped back on the Coast Guard boat and they took off.
Sitting there saying we need water.
They say the Fort Lauderdale crew gave them nothing. Luckily, another boater heard the call for help and brought them food and water. Cardenas says the Coast Guard checked on them periodically, but they still felt helpless.
You know, it was just a real feeling of abandonment. You know, it really felt weird seeing them circle you and watch you as if you were a specimen and not be able to do nothing about it.
After 2 hours of waiting with a dying battery and a threat of storms, the Coast Guard from Lake Worth came to the rescue.
Thank God for them.
They were towed safely back to shore, but say they are disappointed in how protocol can get in the way of helping those who are stranded.
You know, if they could change protocol in some way, it would help a lot of people, I'm sure.
And by law, the Coast Guard is not allowed to intervene in a non-distress situation. A call is put out for marine assistance if a Good Samaritan can help a boater who is out of gas or the boater needs to find a tower. Cardenas says they tried to use a towing company, but were told they would have to pay $950 up front. The Coast Guard from Lake Worth was later dispatched because Cardenas' battery was running low and storms were also threatening. Live in the newsroom, Rochelle Ritchie, News Channel 5.